Welcome back to another amazing episode of the Third Shield Pokemon Go PvP podcast. In this episode, guys, I have an amazing guest. You might have heard his name, FPSTICKS. Taylor is joining us, and he's going to go over his favorite teams in Ultra, Masters, and Great League. I am super excited because he's going to share some of his tactics, and he's also going to share how he got started with Pokemon Go and with starting his own channel. And then he's going to share what's in the near future for Pokemon Go and for himself and his wife. So make sure to tune in, guys, because this is a great episode.
Thank you to everyone who's been supporting my channel on YouTube, and I recently just started streaming on Twitch as well, and everyone's been really supportive of that. And thank you so much for having me on this broadcast.
Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it because you are actually giving tons and tons of value to all the players on YouTube, including myself. So I found you a few weeks ago, I think, or maybe a month ago, and it's just been amazing. So thank you so much for everything that you put out there because it helped me a lot. So the first question I wanted to ask FPSTICKS is how he got started, because everybody starts somehow, and I wanted to know how he started.
So my wife, Katie, who you've probably seen on the channel and on Twitch and stuff, she actually got me into Pokemon Go, which is pretty surprising. I've always been like a hardcore gamer, but mostly console games like, you know, Call of Duty and Battlefield and stuff. And when Pokemon Go came out, she was really into like Pokemon. Well, her brothers were into Pokemon when she was little. I totally missed that whole phase of my life and didn't really get involved with that too much. But when this game came out, like, she wanted me to go out and do stuff with her more frequently because we were dating at the time. It's like, man, you play video games so much. And I did, and I still do. But so she's like, we can play video games and go out and like hang out and go on dates and stuff. And I'm like, that's a win-win scenario if I've ever heard it. So I downloaded the game, and like ever since then I was just hooked, like just fully committed to that game. And then when PvP came out, I was so excited because I felt like Pokemon Go, what it was really lacking was a competitive edge, was a competitive aspect to it. Sure, you could say like I caught more Pokemon than you, or I beat this raid faster than you. But really having that like player versus player aspect was really what I was looking for. So I've been hooked on that ever since.
I thought the opposite, because at home, my wife would not want to do it. I was able to get her to come out with me, but then she was like, I'm never doing it again.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that it's reversed in your case.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I wanted to ask you is, when did you start and why recording your matches for YouTube?
Man, I started like in November of like, you know, this year, so a couple months ago. And you know, once PvP started, whatever I do, I like to be as like well educated and studied up on it as possible. So I would grind on YouTube and watch other content creators to get an idea of what the heck is going on with PvP. And then after season 1 of Silph, I did okay in season 1, but I was definitely not a big name. No one knew of me, and my performance wasn't super great because I still had yet to really put in the time and grind and get really solid. But once season 2 hit, I like came out of the gate and was sweeping tournaments fairly consistently around my local area here in Colorado. And so I finally felt like I had the skill and the knowledge to be able to put myself out there, and that I had good information to give to other people to hopefully help them learn as well with PvP. Because I've always been a teacher. I'm a professional musician and music educator, so teaching is kind of in my blood. And so once I started doing really well, I want to help other people out with their tournaments as well. So that's when I started putting out the content. Didn't have a video camera. My laptop sucked. I like just used my iPhone to screen record and then like record the stuff. And I didn't even have like a face cam for the first like week or so. It was just audio recordings. And but people started to watch it fairly consistently, and they liked the content that I was putting out. And so I just kept going with it. But from day one, I committed that I'm going to upload a YouTube video every single day, because again, I am somewhat obsessive when I get involved with something, and so I'm like, if I'm gonna do this YouTube thing, I'm gonna do it right. And I've heard from other content creators and other big YouTubers that the biggest thing about the YouTube algorithm is consistency. So as long as you're uploading something every day and it's quality content that people enjoy, it's really gonna help you grow.
What do you think about Pokemon Go? Do you think is it going to be the next esports sensation?
Dude, that is totally reliant on Niantic. Like, ball is in their court. Like, as content creators, I feel like we've been doing a good job of building the hype for PvP, trying to spread the word that PvP is cool as much as possible. And for me personally, even in my like local area, I try to get everyone involved with PvP and try to get them into it. But it's pretty embarrassing if this game was going to be an esport when you go up there and there's lag and there's like glitches happening. Like, how embarrassing would that be if we go on a big stage and we're like, look at this cool game, and it's like crashing, and it's just like, it's so embarrassing. So it's totally in Niantic's court. They need to realize how serious PvP can be and make that as streamlined and as smooth as possible, because dude, the lag is real. It frustrates everyone, and you cannot have fairness and a competitive edge until that is fixed.
Yeah, I totally agree with you because, well, two things. One, last year, that invitation only, that had a huge lag, at least what I saw when I watched your recordings. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So that gives you a good example of what you just said. And then second, we all know the actual Go Battle League, what's going on right now, and which the third shield, which is the name of the podcast actually also,
oh, nice.
Believe it or not, for two reasons. One is because everybody's talking about that third shield, and then lastly because the idea is interviewing people like you, give people advantage equal, if not greater, to a third shield in the game.
Uh-huh. Nice.
So that was the whole idea behind it. Yeah. But yeah, so getting back to that, I don't know if you look at the reports. I'm on the business side. I looked into a lot for Pokemon Go, and since they launched the actual Go League, their numbers just going up like this. So, which is amazing. So what you just said, it's in their court. I think they launched this Go Battle League to test it, to see if there is a need for it, and I think they are seeing it, that there is a need for it. So I'm hoping they're gonna launch
Hopefully, yeah, we can only hope with Niantic. Yeah.
So now I wanted to find out that what's next and what his end goal in this game and in his YouTube channel.
So I'm pretty competitive, which is why like I enjoyed so much when PvP came out. But you know, something my parents told me since I was a little kid is like, there's always someone better than you. No matter what you're doing, like there's always someone better than you at something. And it still to this day is really hard for me to like accept that sometimes. Especially like, man, I do my best to try to stay positive when I lose, but I'm like very competitive in my nature. But honestly, I think the biggest thing for me is to just continue to put these YouTube videos out, continue to grow my Twitch, and inspire more people to get involved with PvP. And I'm really trying to find my success through that and not so much my own individual performance. Because, dude, especially in Go Battle League, that can vary day to day. Sometimes I'll go freaking 0-5 and blow the entire rating that I just acquired from yesterday. But I just want to get as many people enjoying PvP as possible and, you know, spread the news. So that's kind of my end goal, is just to continue doing what I'm doing now.
What I'm dying to find out is that if Niantic has some sort of an algorithm that would align each individual Pokemon player, playing style, and even the charge and the fast attacks. So I've been asking every single PvPer, like FPSTICKS, to find out what he thinks about it. So let's see what he says.
Man, I would hate to think that Niantic like put some sort of hidden algorithm with that, because that would just keep me up at night in rage, probably. But, dude, it really feels like that sometimes, but, you know, you have to look at it from the other side, too. Like, the person you got matched up with against, they just got a favorable lead, you know? Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, if there is an algorithm, it seems to somewhat balance itself out. It is very hard in Go Battle League to come out if you lose the lead. Still able to do it sometimes, but it does make it way more challenging. I still don't personally believe that there is an algorithm out there, just because I don't think I want to give Niantic that much credit for designing something like that. But if there is, like, I could definitely see that there might be one, but I personally don't think there is. But
yeah. Okay, well, it certainly feels like that lots of time. But PV Poke said the same thing, Matthew. He goes, yeah, it can feel that way, and because you get so aggravated and you remember your losses way more than your wins.
For sure, for sure.
Now, the next question I want to ask you is that your favorite Great, Ultra, and Master League teams. But let's start with Great, because I feel like you have way more in Great than any other.
Yeah, I still don't have like super standardized lines of three that I like to run in each league. And Great League is so diverse, it's so wide open that especially when it comes around again, when we're able to choose between the three different leagues coming up soon here, I'm going to be trying out some new lines for sure. Obviously, Azumarill and Registeel, like, you can't go wrong with that. It's just too solid of a core. Galvantula has been really fun to use. I know, like, Arrow's team is Galvantula, Azumarill, and Registeel, and I rolled with that for a while. Super fun. I also like using Haunter a lot, kind of either as a lead or a safe switch, because really the only thing that's going to wall Haunter is if you run into a dark type like Umbreon. So I did push up a lot of rating in Great League using like Whiscash, Haunter, and then Registeel in the back. That's pretty much it. I am going to be coming up with some new lines of three to try out. I really enjoy using my double legacy Dugong as well, which now that Elite TMs are coming out, more people will have that, so it won't be as special to me, but at least I'll be able to get a better IV one. And normally when I run, that Dugong is in the lead position, and then two things in the back that essentially would be able to handle Registeel, so maybe like an Alolan Marowak and a Toxicroak maybe. And then in Ultra League, the starter Pokemon have so much more play, like Venusaur, Charizard, Swampert, Typhlosion, Meganium. They have a lot of play in there, and obviously we know that the meta is also centralized around Giratina, Altered, and Registeel again. But I've enjoyed using, I think one of the lines that I was most consistent with in Ultra League was actually Armored Mewtwo in the lead, and then Lapras and Alolan Muck. And kind of the theory behind that is Armored Mewtwo actually doesn't get hard countered by anything, even against Giratina, like Origin, which is one of its worst matchups. The Psystrike still hurts really bad. Against Registeel, you have Dynamic Punch, so very flexible. It's like one of the safest leads you can do in Ultra League, I found. And I don't currently have a Registeel built for Ultra, but I definitely want to use Registeel when it rolls around again. Trying to get a hundo or a good lucky there. But all the starter Pokemon have a lot of play too. Definitely check those out in Ultra. For Master League, oh, Master League, man. The meta is so much more enclosed in Master League, so you can't be as like spicy and off meta. Obviously, the strongest like team of three that you can possibly build is Dialga, Giratina, Origin, and Melmetal. We see it everywhere, and for good reasons. It's insanely strong and powerful. I have been enjoying using Mewtwo frequently with Psystrike and Focus Blast. Landorus looks pretty interesting. It's kind of too soft of a counter to things, in my opinion, though. But yeah, that's for the most part. Mewtwo's been like the most off-meta thing that I've run in Masters. I've also liked this line of Melmetal, Dialga, and then Togekiss in the back, where I essentially bait out the Melmetal with my own Dialga and then let my Togekiss sweep. That worked pretty well for me until I put out a YouTube video on it, and then every person I got matched up against knew my strat, and it wasn't working anymore. It lost the surprise factor, but that's pretty much the lines of three that I've used in those leagues.
That's definitely a legacy one.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just me, or are you lagging too? Okay, it started.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Wow, can't believe it's already like this.
This matchup is always questionable depending on what moveset the Azu has.
Yep.
Ooh, barely one CMP there. Now, is this hydro pump? That is the question.
That is a good
That is the
question.
question. Okay, okay. These icy winds get so annoying over
Yep.
time.
And they add up pretty quickly.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have play rough though? That's the thing. Okay, just hydro pump.
Yep. I used to have that, but then I switched back for the Great League.
Whenever, like, most people that run Azu in the lead tend to have play rough on it to like guarantee the win in the mirror match, and then that makes like this Dugong strat way worse for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking just doing that, but then I was like, you will see why I didn't later on
Yeah.
in this match.
Ooh, freaking Ferrothorn, man. Dude, this thing is a monster.
Yep.
This thing is so good. Have you done any Forest Cup battles yet?
No, it's my first one's actually Thursday, I think.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Okay.
Have you? Well, you did, because I saw some of your videos.
Yeah, I've done some practice battles. I don't know when my first tournament is though, but I'm still getting a feel for the meta. Ferrothorn just seems way too strong to not have one for
Yeah.
Forest. It's insane.
I agree. I try to build my team around it for the Forest Cup.
Oh yeah. Yeah, really, it only has that, you know, double weakness to fire, but other than that, it's like crazy, crazy good.
This is not so much better
Freaking,
either.
freaking pancake, dude. Oh, Mud Boys in the back are so bad for my team.
Great.
Ugh. This freaking pancake gives me nightmares. Man. If they lead with the stun fist, it's great, but then when it pops up at the end, it's just ruins my
best is-
life.
And the best is when they switch, and if they, let's say, have a, what do you call it? Armory, and you're just locked in with Stun Fist, and you're perfect.
Oh my gosh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, come on. Wow.
Man.
Very close to it.
Oh man. Are you running flash? Okay, yeah. Because sometimes I think like in open Great League, some people run Thunder on it. But that flash cannon damage is so nice on Ferrothorn for sure.
And as you see, I don't have any grass really. I mean, anti-grass in it, so that's why I kept it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, good game, man.
Anyways, thank you so much.
So guys, the season is ending now as they extended it one more week because of the lags. However, that gives us another week to ask FPSTICKS, what is he going to use his elite TM that he's going to get right now at the end of the season? And even bigger question, what are you guys going to do with it? It would be awesome if you could comment it below, because that would help everybody else out in the community to see what they are spending it on and why. So it would be awesome if you could comment below what you are going to use it on and why you choose that, like Mewtwo, Shadow Ball, for example, or Blaziken, Stone Edge. So I think that's what I'm going to go with, by the way, or Mewtwo, Shadow Ball, but I'm not sure yet, but those are my two options. How about you? And how about FPSTICKS?
Dude, I still don't know. Man, like I already have that double legacy Dugong right now, so there's not like a direct need for that. Honestly, I might use it on like one of my Great League is it a charged TM, the Elite TM?
Yes, charged.
Okay. As of now, I might just hold on to it. I know there's been a lot of talk about like Shadow Ball, Psystrike Mewtwo, But man, I really enjoy that Focus Blast nuke potential. I can't tell you how many teams I've just totally swept because I get their shields down and then Dialga comes out, it gets one-shotted, Melmetal tries to come out and it gets one-shotted as well. So as of now, I don't actually have something lined up, so I'm just going to be keeping it nice and safe in my bag until I find good use for that.
Yeah, technically, I guess you could get two, because you can buy one this weekend, right?
Oh,
in
yes.
that box, and then you can also earn one. And actually, I was a little bit worried about that. I don't know about you, but I thought you're gonna able to start buying them up, and then it ruins the game. But luckily,
yeah, absolutely.
luckily, no. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really want to find out his number one advice for a new player who is starting out now. So let's listen.
Number one advice I have is just like try to educate yourself. Obviously, watch a lot of content creators and see what they're saying, see what teams are working out. But also go on pvpoke.com, the best PvP resource that you can find, and run some simulations, figure out those matchups there. It is very easy, especially in Go Battle League, to get discouraged and start blaming your losses on things that aren't actually happening, like your opponent cheating or using airplane mode glitch or any of that stuff. I know with Master League especially, it's such a dust investment that it's pretty much impossible for new players to be competitive in Master League, especially they might not have the legendary Pokemon or they might be short on dust. As much as possible, get yourself like a Pokemon Go Plus or a Gacha, something that you can consistently catch Pokemon. Find a nice like dust grinding loop and start building up your resources. Or make friends with someone who's generous and will trade you some of their PV Pokemon. I've definitely done that before when people have first gotten into PvP. I try to help them out, give them some Pokemon that I know will be good in PvP, because I'm sitting pretty decent in Stardust right now.
Since you mentioned that, what is a good way, or what is your like daily routine like for Stardust? Because that's a currency that's running low on everyone.
Yeah, it's extremely difficult during these like COVID-19 times to get out and grind. Because I have the gacha, which for those of you who don't know, it's essentially a Go Plus that automatically spins and automatically catches hands free. So I have, my wife Katie and I have this really great like grinding loop that we have like kind of in the main shopping center. Essentially just a lot of big parking lots, and especially now there's like no one out shopping, so you can just cruise around really slow. The spawns are absolutely insane. And it's basically just parking lot spawns there. The biggest problem is there's not that many Pokestops, so you definitely run out of balls fairly fast, but we also have kind of a walking loop that we do. It's like a 15-minute drive from us, and it's at this park near us that has a high abundance of Pokestops. So essentially what I do, I never ever delete a Pokeball. Pokeball is like gold currency for me. Like, never delete a Pokeball, and when I'm out walking around, I only use my Great or Ultra Balls. So what that allows me to do is retain all of my Pokeballs for my gacha when I'm doing my driving loop, and that's kind of how I balance out the different number of balls there.
That's right. I learned that the hard way as well. I use the same tactic, and what worked for me really good is the whatchamacallit, a movie theater parking lot combination.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
So far, guys, he is giving us some awesome take action items. So I would love to hear what's your number one takeaway from this episode. It would be awesome if you commented below. And now I'm gonna find out what would be one thing if he could change in the game. And even better, guys, what would be your one thing that you would change in the game if you could? Comment it below and let's see.
Yeah, well, the obvious response is just, the lag and the glitches. But as far as conceptually goes, I think it would be so cool if Niantic was able to implement like a 2v2 system in PvP. Oh my gosh, I don't know how they'd be able to do that and not have lag. But I think it'd be so cool to like pair up with one of your friends and like take on other teams of two. I think that'd be so much fun.
Yeah, that would be. Hopefully they're listening and eventually they get on this.
Yes.
And what do you think? I wanted to ask you this actually. What do you think about, because you're big in the Silph arena? So what do you think about eventually in the Go Battle League? Do you think they're gonna have the similar setup as far as different meta and cups?
My opinion on this has actually somewhat changed. So when Go Battle League first came out, I was so resistant to the format. Like the concept of blind battles was just like infuriating to me, because I spend hours and hours building and studying teams and learning matchups for all that to be thrown away because you have no idea what they have in the back. Like, yeah, Go Battle League versus Silph, like if they start implementing like restrictions or bans on certain Pokemon, the pro of that is that the meta will change up slightly, but the con of that is that people that have spent all those resources on that Pokemon, they can't use it anymore. And again, when we're in a dust shortage, you don't really want to be banning some of these Pokemon that people have invested in. I think bare minimum, if they just implemented like a pick or a show 6 pick 3 format, and I've kind of talked about this before, but like when you get matched up with someone, you have 30 seconds to look at their team, maybe even 15 seconds. It quickly shows what 6 Pokemon that they could select from, and then from there you at least have like a groundwork of what they could possibly bring in, so you're not completely blind. And that way, it eliminates like the 100% blind aspect of it, and it still keeps things moving fast, which I know a lot of people enjoy Go Battle League because you can just grind them out back to back to back, get a bunch of battles in. So it still maintains things fast, but I really enjoy the show 6 pick 3 format. I would love if they implemented that.
And finally, let's find out how we can get in touch with FPSTICKS and what is he going to do next.
So head on over to YouTube. Username is FPSTICKS, and on Twitch it's FPSTICKSPogo, and on Twitter it's also FPSTICKSPogo. Those are like the 3 main platforms that I'm on right now. Again, I'm trying to stay consistent with YouTube, upload a video every single day, and I'm trying to develop a Twitch schedule right now. And so once I get that locked down, I'll for sure have that posted, but definitely follow me on Twitter for important updates like when I go live on Twitch and stuff.
Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you loved this episode. I would love for you if you could please either share, comment, or like. YouTube loves those algorithms. And if you could comment below, that would be amazing. You can even comment any questions that you have. We might, or even guest suggestions. If you want a guest on the show, make sure you comment it below. We have some amazing guests coming on. Ryan Swag is going to be the next guest. So make sure to stay tuned because he is going to be an amazing episode. As you can see, or this side or this side, I'm going to link it in, some little trailer for the next show. But he blown my mind. He was really into giving out some amazing tactics. And I already took action on it, sorry guys, so I'm a week ahead of you. But make sure to stay tuned because the new season's starting. So it would be perfect time to watch this episode, FP6, which you just watched, and on top of that, Taylor's episode, Ryan's episode, because Ryan Swag gave away some amazing information on how to build your team and how to use the IVs, what the actual tactics for Great League and for the whole next season. So it's going to be a great episode. Make sure to tune in. If you subscribe to the channel, you're going to get notifications right away when the next episode airs. And we're going to make some changes. So we're going to have basically 3 new videos each week, but I'm going to cut out the best parts of each episode and we're going to start sharing them on the channel. So if you don't have, let's say, 30 minutes to listen or watch the whole episode, then we're going to cut out like the top 5 takeaways in like 2 minutes, or maybe even go down to 60 seconds. So we're going to figure it out for you guys. So guys, don't forget that the podcast is on iTunes, on Google, on Spotify, and on YouTube. If you're watching, you know that. If you're listening, make sure to watch it because we have some amazing graphics. Michelangelo, our amazing videographer and editor, is doing an amazing job for you guys to make sure that this is going to be the #1 podcast out there. That's a promise, and we're going to get there. And guys, don't forget that if you subscribe, you get all the latest updates, and every single Wednesday at 12:15 Eastern time, a new episode going to drop. And on Monday and Friday, there will be additional tips that goes with the episode. That's going to be the new style. So make sure to subscribe, hit that button, because that's going to help you out. So see you guys till next week.